The Houston Texans are making moves as they have officially released their 53-man roster, and in the process, releasing a lot of players. And in this video, we're going to get to who those players are and some of the expectations for the Texans this season. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Donovan Ricondo, for Texans Digest, where you can get all the latest news, rumors, and updates regarding your H-Town team. And we are currently at 2,025 subscribers. And with the NFL season around the corner, if you want to stay in the loop regarding your Houston Texans, this is the channel for you. We're going to have daily updates with the team about things like Joe Mixon's injury, CJ Stroud, all those things right here on this channel. So stay tuned. And as far as today, we are talking about that new 53-man roster. And no real surprises in the 53-man roster. Of course, the Joe Mixon thing is kind of the biggest deal right now with the team, him being out for the first 4 games of the season. But there was a lot of transactions made in order to get down to 53 that the Houston Texans have made. As many of you know, the Texans had until 3 p.m. today to get down to the NFL roster limit of 53 players. Among the moves, shifting Pro Bowl running back Joe Mixon to the non-football injury list, meaning he will miss the first 4 games. The rehab process for that injury that Joe Mixon has been called tough and complicated by a bunch of league sources. But as far as transactions, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a list of all of the transactions that the Houston Texans just made. So if you want to know what those were, what players made the cut, what players did not make the cut, this is it right here. So stay tuned to this right here. The Texans released rookie tight end Luke Lackey, a 7th-round draft pick from Iowa, per a league source. The Texans traded offensive tackle Austin Deculus to the Los Angeles Chargers. If y'all did not see this today, this was a last-minute trade. Offensive tackle Austin Deculus to the Los Angeles Chargers for a 2027 7th-round draft pick. That's in a couple of years. Maybe that'll come around, and it's going to be something awesome. We'll see. Just adding some draft capital for this team should be big news. Let's continue. Second-year fullback British Books has made the 53-man roster for the 2nd year in a row. Per source, excelled on special teams with punishing tackle and ran for a touchdown in the preseason. So congrats to British Brooks for making the 53-man roster fullback, but also probably going to be a special teams specialist, a special teams guy for the entire season. So congrats to British Brooks on that as well. Texans' 2nd-year linebacker Jamal Hill, a former 6th-round draft pick from Oregon, made the squad again per a league source. Congratulations to Jamal Hill. The Texans are releasing former Las Vegas Raiders first-round cornerback Damon Arnett Jr. per a league source. So if you bought his jersey, go ahead and return it. The Texans released cornerback D'Angelo Ross, a top special teams contributor per a league source. Ross could be back for the practice squad, potentially. The Texans are releasing veteran fullback Jacob Johnson per a league source. Johnson could potentially rejoin the team on their practice squad. He was listed as the starting fullback on the depth chart and played for offensive coordinator Nick Caley with the New England Patriots. So stay tuned on Johnson about our practice squad and all those things. We're going to continue. I feel like the morning announcements telling what classes had perfect attendance. That's the vibe I'm getting. Regardless, we're going to continue right here. The Texans released international defensive tackle Haggai. I'm not even going to try. Per a league source. But previously, he was with the Patriots, the Washington Commanders, and the Denver Broncos. 6'7", 323-pound native of Lagos, Nigeria. He won't count against the practice squad limit. He had 2 sacks in the preseason, leading the team, which is honestly not a bad for a preseason guy. Hopefully, he can find some playing time for either the Texans or some other team. I think a lot of teams would be happy with this 6'7", 323-pounder. So wishing him the best in his future endeavors, of course. The Texans are releasing former Los Angeles Rams safety Releasing former Los Angeles Rams safety Russ Yeast per a league source. Yeast had a solid preseason and could be back for the practice squad, as we're seeing a pattern in these announcements. The Texans released former Utah standout defensive tackle Junior Tafuna per a league source. Could see him getting action on waivers. Otherwise, former Senior Bowl player will be a top practice squad candidate. And we are continuing with these announcements. Let's take a break. Everybody breathe. Awesome. The Texans are releasing undrafted rookie linebacker Casey Osai, the younger brother of Joseph Osai, former UT Longhorn, as we see right here. Hook'em. Per a league source, Osai is expected back for the practice squad if he clears waivers. The Texans are releasing undrafted rookie linebacker Jackson Woodard, a former Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Texans released rookie center Eli Cox, an undrafted player from Kentucky, per a league source. He's a prime candidate to join the Texans practice squad if he clears waivers. The Texans released second-year defensive end Solomon Byrd. Per a league source, Byrd is a developing pass rusher from USC who had a strong preseason. And Solomon did have a strong preseason. Ultimately, I hope he finds some playing time either with the Texans or with another team. He was a very solid guy in the preseason. Ultimately, was not going to cut it for our 53-man roster with the amount of people we are trying to fit onto this squad. But wishing him nothing but the best. The Texans released versatile veteran defensive back Miles Bryant. Per a league source, Bryant plays multiple positions and former Patriots starter is good at special teams. It is a somewhat surprising transaction. So veteran defensive back Miles Bryant did not make the squad this year. There was not too much attention on him, but out of all the transactions so far, seems to be the one that a lot of people are talking about, besides the Joe Mixon thing, missing the first 4 games. The Texans released veteran offensive lineman Jalen Thomas, per a league source. Strong candidate for the practice squad. Texans are releasing veteran and special teams standout Nick Niemann. Per a league source, his 2-year, $6 million contract has $4 million guaranteed, with a $1.5 million signing bonus, a $1.5 million fully guaranteed base salary this year, and $1 million in guarantees in 2026. So that's kind of the more financial contractual news in terms of him. He had a contract, $6 million, blah, blah, blah. But worth noting. Oh no, this one is all messed up. Anyways, I can go ahead and read it. Daniel Jackson has been I guess that's released. I honestly don't know. We will get to you on that. I'll leave something in the comments. Quintez Cephas, who we recently signed to a contract, has been released as well. He caught a touchdown against Detroit. He honestly didn't have a terrible game. He did pretty solid, but ultimately he is also cut from the team as well. They waived injured wide receiver Juwan Winfrey as well. Broken bone as well. There's also that. Oh no, these are all messed up. I'm not going to redo this video. The Texans are releasing veteran offensive tackle Connor McDermott, per a league source. And honestly, this one was kind of a bit surprised to me. Connor McDermott was a guy who had a lot of experience. I'm kind of surprised that they did release him. I know they kind of signed him recently to kind of see what was going to happen with the offensive line. I know we have a good rookie right now that I believe is working at either left or right tackle, so that's good news. But ultimately, Connor McDermott is a kind of a surprise, right? Former New England Patriots, who starred for them and for the New York Jets. In addition to that, they are cutting veteran safety Jalen Mills, per a league source. I know he was a kind of a new guy that we recently did a video on as well. He had an interception during preseason. And we're also releasing quarterback Keaton Slovis. Former USC quarterback Slovis was on the practice squad last season and did a good job operating. And then I can't see the rest of that, respected by the coaching staff. And we're also releasing veteran offensive tackle Trent Brown, per league sources. And we got 3 more to go. The Texans are also releasing former University of Michigan offensive lineman Ladarius Henderson. Veteran defensive end Casey Tuhill being released by the Texans today. The Texans are also releasing former veteran cornerback Arthur Mullen. This is another guy that was kind of a bit of a surprise, a veteran who played with the Ravens recently. He is expected to draw some interest from around the NFL. He was a solid guy who has a lot of versatility. He's a great blitzer. Ultimately, the Texans decided to not keep him on the roster. Again, he'll probably find a home on another NFL team, but this to me is probably the biggest surprise, Arthur Mullen not being on the team next year. And the Texans are also releasing veteran long snapper Blake Ferguson. The Texans may, if you know where that's from, go ahead and comment it in the comment section. The Texans, that's so dumb. The Texans may place tight end Irv Smith Jr. on injured reserve due to a sprained ankle. That could open the door for tight end Harrison Bryant to stick on the initial 53-man roster after being acquired in a trade from Philadelphia in exchange for receiver John Mechie. Rest in peace, John Mechie. He is now not on the team anymore. He's still very much alive, but he's on the Eagles, obviously. But unfortunate things did not work out with John Mechie. I haven't really given my thoughts on that, but Wish him nothing but the best. He's a very, very talented wide receiver. I hope he has a great career in Philadelphia. And last one, guys, I absolutely promise. Second year right tackle Blake Fisher is dealing with a mild ankle sprain, per a source. And Texans returner and receiver Braxton Berrios, wide receiver, is looking likely for the initial 53-man roster. So that is pretty good for him. Braxton Berrios, congratulations. It was a very competitive wide receiver kind of competition, right, with all these receivers trying to fight for some spot. And so Braxton Berrios, congrats for him making the roster. Both Berrios and wide receiver Justin Watson made the initial 53-man roster per a league source. So congrats to Justin Watson as well, Braxton Berrios. All of that is very, very good stuff. I believe we are at 7-ish wide receivers. Somebody correct me on that if I am wrong. So we have a good amount of wide receivers to have. I know Tank Dell is obviously hurt, so he won't be playing in these games, but at the same time, congrats to these guys. It's all very, very good stuff. And that wraps up all of the transactions made today for that 53-man roster. So this is our going to be the team guys that are on the team, not on the team, and got a couple guys on the practice squad, if you recognize their names per preseason, who are still going to be affiliated with the team. But ultimately, guys, I am so excited for the NFL season to start. We are so close. We are so close to that week 1 matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. We have been practicing. We've been working hard. I've been impressed with what I've seen so far in the preseason. I hope these guys have a great rest of the time and do not get hurt in the lead up to week 1. So nothing but the best for everybody here at Texans Digest. And if you have any comments about these transactions, the roster, all those things, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions or clarify any things. But this is the roster. We have transactions made, making moves. This is the Houston Texans squad. And so with that, we want to remind you to go ahead and subscribe if you want to hear these news. This is a little bit of a long one, a little bit of just a list of what has happened. So thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for tuning in. As you can see, the sun has gotten lower and lower as I was talking and is now flashing directly into my eyeballs. With that, that wraps up for this video. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording before I say something dumb. Bye.